From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
Hey everybody, welcome to Local 4 Live. We're going to start with the conditions outside. As you can see on the roads this hour, crashes are impacting freeways, including I-75, I-94, US 23. The list continues, all because of that fresh dusting of snow that we are waking up to. And it's nothing compared to the west side of the state and up north, where they got another round of snow, including lake effect. This is a live look at Ludington right now. We're tracking the snowfall from overnight across the state and here at home. Well, thank you for joining us here for Local 4 Live. I'm Nick Monticelli. Right off the top, we're going to get right into the weather and the traffic. Ashley Barrissey is here, Donald Blackburn as well. You guys just so great looking today.
Oh, thank you. He loves when I bring, a forecast that creates so many issues for him on the front.
Well, it keeps him busy, right? Which makes his day go by.
It makes my day go. That's job security.
Right.
Yeah, yes, I appreciate it. No,
there's a lot of issues out there.
A lot of issues. A lot just back and forth, and I think people just are not keeping in mind that it's snowing.
It's snowing. You need to slow down a little bit.
You got to slow down just a little bit. The fact that there is a dusting of snow, but this snow causes problems for people. So, again, that along with the temperatures, the road temperature, and everything else. I mean, it's just caused a lot of things. So, let's talk about what is going on the roads. Right now, eastbound I-94 at Cashew, 2 lanes in the shoulder block. You can see those backups well past that area, all the way to Maross. So a lot of backups in this particular area. And this has been a trouble spot for most of the morning. Northbound US 23 after Michigan Avenue, that left lane and shoulder is blocked in that particular area as well. And also northbound US 23 at Carpenter Road. These have been around for a while. That left lane and shoulder are blocked. So US 23 has been the hot spot for most of the morning. I want to give you a look at this particular area, US 23 in Northfield. You can see these cars they aren't going that slow, but they are going slower because these black spots or these spots on the road, they may look like they're clear, but a lot of slip outs and crashes in these particular areas. Also a closure in this area had things backed up for a while. So,
and I think one of the issues here is that for some reason at this time of year, when we get the first or second snowfall, people just forget. And I don't want to be rude when I say that, right? But I mean, it's the proof is in the pudding, because we see crashes like this every year right now, where it's just all the avoidable stuff. But if you would have just slowed down a little bit, like I was driving to work today, people were doing 70 miles an hour.
Oh yeah.
Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, me too. And we take the same route, and,
right.
and the freeway was. I mean, it was covered pretty. The lanes were covered pretty nicely.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of people just leave early. Right. I mean, Ashley's been talking about the fact that we're going to get the snow, and so leave early and just drive.
Well, and the timing is it like you talked about yesterday. It's not a monumental amount of snow, but it's just the timing of it that just really hampered everything.
Right, and I think to add to this, if you're going to take it slow, you want to go in the right lanes to allow for people that might want to go a little bit faster, because I think where you get the trouble is you get folks that are going too fast and they want to pass the people that are going too slow, and then they go in those outer lanes that haven't been cleared. They spin out, and so it's kind of a domino effect. It's like if the slower folks were in the right lane and the people want to go maybe a little fast, not above the speed limit, but want to go a little faster, stay in that left lane, but not the exterior lane. It's really, it has to be a perfect recipe out there. But you mentioned, it was in the morning. I mean, we had a lot of salt trucks that were out there, which was great. So the freeways got cleared pretty quickly. I know there was still some trouble in certain spots, but it's really the surface streets, the driveways, the sidewalks that are going to continue to create some issues out there this morning. If you have the salt, go ahead and throw it out there, because you don't want to slip and fall. We're done with the snowmaker itself. That's to the east. So now we're just dealing with the aftermath of it. We will have another chance for some passing light snow as we head into Wednesday evening, but the rest of the day should be A-okay. You can see that we've dried out on Exact Track 4D, but this was the very far northern tier of a massive system that is on the east coast from Maine all the way down towards Florida. So you can see as those temperatures warm, the farther south you go, the transition, but the DC area getting freezing rain and a wintry mix. So I do show this because if you have travel plans, whether it's by air or by car, off to the East Coast, anywhere from the New England region down towards Florida, you might encounter some trouble in your travel plans for today. Otherwise, here's a live look outside Campus Martius. Wanted to point this out because right outside that ice rink, if you were with us earlier this morning, it was completely white. It was a fresh coating. Now we're starting to see a lot of that either melt or be cleared, and that's the improvement that we've been dealing with as the morning's gone on. But it is chilly out there. 11 in Ann Arbor, 24 in Detroit, low 20s in the suburbs, and we only get into the low 30s this afternoon. So about 10 degrees below average, holding on to the winter gray. If you think that's cold, Nick, we have even colder air arriving for the later part of the week. So.
Great, thanks, Ash.
You're welcome. It's all about being prepared.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to switch gears here. It is now day 4 of the hearing to decide if the deadly hyperbaric chamber case in Troy is going to move forward. Yesterday, a Mayo Clinic safety expert testified that a missing grounding strap, a key safety device, could have prevented the explosion that killed 5-year-old Thomas Cooper. 4 people, including the center's owner, are charged. We'll keep you updated as that hearing continues. An Oakland County doctor will learn how long he will spend in prison for sexually abusing and secretly recording patients. Omar Ayaz pleaded no contest to 30 charges in October, accepting punishment without admitting guilt. His victims range from adults to children as young as 2 years old. We're going to be following this and bringing updates when we get them. In less than an hour now, the votes for Hamtramck's mayoral race will be recounted. Adam Al-Harbi was certified the winner, but he only beat Mahood Mahmood by 6 votes. Mahmood requested that recount. The Wayne County Board of Canvassers expects to finish the recount this afternoon. The new mayor will take office on January 1st. Well, happening tomorrow, the Michigan Public Service Commission will hold a public hearing over DTE's application for approval of contracts for a massive AI data center in Saline Township. This comes after DTE tried to fast-track the contracts and avoid public hearings. But this is just one example of the ongoing fight over data centers in the state of Michigan. Take a look at this. This is a map from the Data Map Center, and it shows just how many data centers are actually in Michigan. You can see all those dots on the screen there. There are 57 of them, including 27 in Detroit, 5 in Ann Arbor, and 1 in Monroe. Now, these are the centers that are already there. Take a look at this map. This one shows the towns where data centers are being proposed. It includes spots in Kent, Berrien, Livingston, Washtenaw, and Kalkaska counties. Now, the 2 red areas, that's Livingston and Kalkaska counties, there the data centers have either been paused or the proposal was withdrawn. To help us navigate all of this data center talk and what all of these things are, we have 2 experts, 2 professors. Dr. Chris Kobus, he is an engineering professor over at Oakland University, and Dr. Ju, he is a professor of computer science at Wayne State University. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Let me just start with here, and Dr. Ju, I'm going to start with you. Can you just explain very simply what is a data center and, more importantly, why we need them?
Yeah, the data center is a critical server infrastructure. So that's actually we use every day. Our email and our financial bills and everything. So this provide the computing and also communication storage. Everything we use for is essential for the digital economies. So it's definitely is create a lot of opportunities for everybody. Create convenience, security. So our data is saved in the data center, is in a secured way, and also is transported between the different units, and also in a safe way. So that's basically that's our we use it implicitly every day.
Okay, so Dr. Kubas, then, can you kind of walk us through why there is this massive push for so many more data centers, or is it just now we're more aware of them, or maybe a combination of both?
No, it's a matter of being more aware of them. So we have been using data centers for a long time. People that have ordered anything on Amazon, searched anything on Google, any social media that you have, Facebook, Instagram, all of it, and by the way, streaming services, Netflix, Amazon Prime, whatever you watch, that is all going through a data center. And as you know, just for example, streaming services, the resolution is going up. Everybody now watches content in 4K. That's all digital content that requires storage. That is a digital service. Those have always required data centers. And now with AI coming online, and the future is really pinned on growth of AI to a certain extent, that is just going to require more computing, and that is going to require data centers. So this is not new. This has been going on for a long time. It's technological progress.
So let me ask this then, Dr. Kobus. In terms of AI, which you brought up there, obviously I know that there's more computer power and processing behind that. Do you anticipate, or should we anticipate, the growth of more data centers just to support that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So big language models, whether it's Gemini, Copilot, ChatGPT, there's a bunch of big language models. They are supposed to be thinking, higher level thinking than what we're used to from other services. They are going to be our assistants for the future, digital assistants. They're going to help workers be more productive. They're going to help me be a better professor, for instance, in the future. I already use some of it, and that's only going to continue to grow. And that requires a lot of computing power. As you know, the human brain is an excellent computer, and for AI to do what the human brain does requires a lot more power. They're getting better at that. The algorithms are getting better, but we simply need more computing power into the future for AI.
Gotcha. Okay, so Dr. Judith, I want to bring you back in here. There are so many conversations, so many arguments. There have been protests and yelling at different township and city hall meetings about these coming to towns. I don't want to get into the politics of if it's right or wrong for the area, but can you just kind of explain what some of the concerns are and why there are some discussions about environmental impacts?
Yeah, sure. So it's a double-edged blade for sure. So while it's in the one hand it brings the new jobs, right? So to promote the local economies, but of course there's the downside will be the footprint, like environmental and also energy footprint, right? So it requires a lot of the power, as the Chris already mentioned. So it's going to put additional pressure on the existing infrastructure for E20, and also the water consumption, and also the other side will be the noise pollution. So these are all potential issues. It really depends on how much gains versus how much the issues bring to the local community.
Gotcha. Okay, so one more question, Dr. Kobus, going back to you then. I am a big proponent believing that knowledge is power. And it seems like in a situation like this, maybe more conversations about the purpose and why they're necessary, and maybe having discussions about ways to mitigate or kind of work together within communities might be helpful.
Yeah, maybe, but again, the kinds of issues that are being raised, whether it's power demand, whether it's water usage, you had a graphic already of how many data centers already exist in Michigan. How many of those are over consuming water? What kind of noise pollution complaints? I haven't seen any stories on any of those issues, but then all of a sudden now, with the advent of AI, nobody wants the new data center. And I will bet you all the detractors that come out, the information that they're putting out there, they themselves are creating the demand. They are using the digital services that demand more data centers. How many of them don't have social media, don't have a streaming service, don't order on Amazon, don't search on Google, et cetera, et cetera?
Wow. Okay. Doctors, thank you very much. We could have a 2-hour-long conversation about this because obviously we have to have them, but there are impacts and we have to have those discussions too. So we'll continue to monitor and see what happens here over the next couple of months, and we'll probably talk to you again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well, many of you may be getting ready to do some holiday shopping. You might have done it online. You might have used a data center. But how about helping those in need? Today is Giving Tuesday, a live look now inside of the Heat and Warmth offices. The fund there as they fundraise, trying to reach $150,000 for today. We'll talk more about what they're doing and how you can help when we come back. Well, welcome back. We know there are a lot of people in our area struggling to make ends meet, and it can be especially scary if you can't afford to pay your utility bills, especially right now as temperatures are dropping. That's why Local 4 is teaming up with Thaw, the Heat and Warmth Fund, for a telethon that's happening today. You can help someone keep their lights on and their heat going this winter. Just call the number that's 888-579-4950. Again, 888-579-4950. Now, right now, we are joined live by Tanya Hill. She is the president and interim CEO of Thaw. Tanya, thank you so much for joining us from the telethon there. We had some great conversations and discussions this morning about what this means and how far the dollars go. Can you kind of walk us through some of the stories you heard about what families need and what they're looking for?
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, our families are in critical need this year, quite frankly, more than ever before. Thaw, as you know, provides heat and utility assistance to families in all 83 counties in Michigan. And this year, of course, we are celebrating again our gift of warmth today. And families really, really need your support. We had a grandmother, for example, October, we did a community assistance day, and she actually walked a mile to the location and back just to get assistance. So the need is more urgent now than ever before.
You also talked earlier this morning about the ripple effect and kind of the domino effect of things that have happened in the economy and with federal government as far as shutdown and SNAP benefits being
absolutely.
paused. That all continues to be an issue for families.
Yes, traditionally, Thaw services, women, children, seniors, unemployed, underemployed. But this year, when we had the TSA shutdown, we found ourselves in a position where we really wanted to step up quickly to help TSA workers. And we were able to physically go to the airport, a location from one of our partners, airport partners, Charities Lagardère, meet them at that office and provide them emergency assistance on the spot.
All right, so if you could, Tanya, kind of walk us through exactly how the money is used. Obviously, there are some costs there in the office, but almost every penny is going right back to people.
Absolutely. We are very good stewards of the funds that our public donates to us. For every dollar we receive, over 83% of those funds go directly into programming. And that's providing heat assistance, and that's for deliverable heat as well, which includes wood and propane. And we also provide utility assistance. We provide refrigerators in some cases, furnaces in some cases, utility assistance to all of our customers across Michigan who need that support.
Yeah. Okay, Tanya Hill with the Heat and Warmth Fund. Thank you so much. Again, the number there right on your screen, 888-579-4950. You can call and talk to Tanya directly if you'd like. There's that information. You can also scan the QR code there on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. It is our Go For It event today, the Gift of Warmth. We are collecting money and helping raise them until 7 o'clock tonight. The goal is $150,000. All right, turning our attention now to the weather, which actually is a very good conversation to have because the temperatures are just plummeting right now. And talking about needing that heat, you're going to need a lot of it right now.
Absolutely. I mean, I think as far as this telethon, I mean, the timing, it's just such a good reminder for folks to help out those that could really use it. So hopefully folks will help on this Giving Tuesday. We have good news when it comes to the fact that the snow has moved out of the region. So we should continue to see improvement as the day progresses. But I mean, it's December, folks. We'll get another round of some snow late tomorrow. And then as Nick alluded to, the temperatures are going to continue to tumble. So we're really at the warmest point of the week because highs right around 30 to 32 will be the warmest that we feel. highs by Thursday, Friday are only in the 20s, and we're going to get into that in full detail in a second here. I do want to show you some winter weather alerts from just south of the state line into Ohio and then stretching all the way up towards Maine. This even goes farther south of D.C., where we have winter weather advisories, in fact, winter storm warnings as you get north of Boston. So traveling will be tricky if you're working your way east for today. But otherwise, like I said, we've been clearing things out. You can see the snow that we were dealing with early this morning has pushed well to the east, just off towards Canada, off into Lake Erie. So we're going to be pretty much dry throughout the rest of the day. Light accumulation was early and maybe a little stray flake or two, but otherwise the more accumulating snow that could arrive would be Wednesday evening as far as a chance for it, and even that still minor accumulation. It comes with an Arctic front, which will bring bitterly cold air later this week. So that is going to kind of steal the headline, not the snow chance, but the fact that we will have really cold air. Looking at this live shot of downtown Detroit, I think that that's just steam because it's so cold out there. Hopefully we're not looking at smoke from a fire. So yeah, that's a live look at downtown Detroit. 24 degrees in the city, 11 in Ann Arbor, 21 in Pontiac, 23 down into Monroe, where we have very light northerly winds out there. So your forecast for the rest of the day, 31 the afternoon high. We flirt with the freezing mark, but likely don't exceed it. And so it's another chilly day on tap as we hold on to the winter gray. This is that front I was just talking about. So it's going to bring a much more potent, colder air mass. It also brings those little light snow chances, I would say Wednesday by the dinner hour through the evening rush hour drive, and a couple little lake effect snow bands. We're not talking heavy stuff. I mean, it would just give you that little coating, little dusting in some spots, and it's not even a widespread event. But that clearing going into Thursday, not our friend through the overnight, because that will take away that blanket. So by the time we get to Thursday morning, between the cold front and the clearing, feels like temperatures, the wind chills will be anywhere from 0 to about 10 degrees below zero, zipping through your Friday morning. I think Ann Arbor could feel between 10 to 15 degrees below zero. There will be a lot of sub-zero wind chills on the map to consider for that bus stop forecast. Quick look at what's ahead, because this is promising, where you see not a whole lot of snow chances once we get past Wednesday. There's a few flurries that dance around the Great Lakes, but that Clipper system that we are looking at towards the end of the weekend looks like it's going to steer clear of Michigan and go farther south. So we'll keep a closer eye on that to see if that track repositions itself. But right now, not a whole lot of, significant snow chances in the forecast. We'll just get that brushing come Wednesday evening, and it's just going to be the cold air that becomes the headline. Single-digit lows Friday morning, feeling sub-zero, and highs only around 30 this weekend. Your face right now, we can only see the back of your head. That facial expression, that would have become a meme, folks. I know. I mean, at least the snow's sticking around for kids to play in. You just have to bundle up.
Yes.
Yeah, be safe.
All right. Thanks, Ash. Well, speaking of little ones, helping the littlest learners head to school. Next, we're going to talk with the state's Early Education Division about the push to get kids enrolled in their free pre-K program when we come back. Good morning, everybody. I'm Nick Monticelli. A heads up for you. Our next Go For It campaign is giving the gift of warmth We're helping to raise money for THAW. That's the Heat and Warmth Fund. THAW helps people in crisis pay their utility bills. We're talking about families with children, seniors, veterans, and more who are struggling to make ends meet and pay those bills. We're collecting your donations today, Giving Tuesday, until 7 o'clock. Thank you for helping us go for it. And there's another 90 minutes of Local 4 Live over on Local 4 Plus. Next, we're helping those little learners head to school and the push to get those kids enrolled in the state's free pre-K program. And while we're talking about THAW, we're going to talk to them about their telethon and other ways you can help families this holiday season. We'll also talk to gleaners about the work they are doing to help put fresh food on the table of families in need. Ashley also has your cold, chilly forecast here on Local 4. Why don't you flip over to Local 4 Live to see some of those segments right now.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Local 4 Live. I'm Nick Monticelli. Metro Detroit just got a fresh coating of snow and it's made for some pretty slick roads and a difficult morning commute. A live look over 696 now. We're getting an update on all the accidents we have seen so far. We've got weather and traffic coverage here live. Darnell is here. Ashley is here. Look at that. So far away though. This table is too big. Okay, let's start with the roads because it is just, I don't want to say a mess out there, but just kind of inconvenient for some people who A, don't know how to drive, and then B, those who get stuck behind those don't know how to drive.
And they want to get around them, and they cause a problem too.
Right,
That's what's
exactly,
happening.
right.
Yeah, we had some issues on the roads, and it was US 23. Now it's kind of moved over to I-94. It's been our trouble spot.
Oh, okay.
So we'll jump into I-94 and take a look at the maps and talk about some of the crashes that are going on over there. Right now, this is westbound I-94. Right as you, a couple of lanes are blocking this area, and so I'm showing you the distance of how long the blocking is. It goes all the way back to Moross in terms of traffic being backed up. But I want to give you a drive time. If you're on I-94 westbound from I-696 to I-75. There's a 14-minute delay, and that's right in the heart of where that crash is around Cashew. So definitely going to give yourself some extra time as you're traveling through Detroit in this area. Eastbound I-94, the entrance ramp to Lanyo, that right shoulder is blocked in that area as well, about 20 miles per hour. See, I jinxed her. I said she wasn't coughing up along, and she starts coughing. Who does that? All right, I'll keep talking while you keep coughing. Eastbound I-94, that entrance ramp to Lanyo, that shoulder is blocked in that area. So again, some delays there as well. And then we got another 94 issue, this time out in Macomb County. Westbound I-94 at Little Mac, that left shoulder is blocked. Traffic's moving about 45 miles per hour, so expect to see those brake lights right around 14 Mile in that Masonic area. So just some slow goes on the road. I want to give you a look outside. This is one of the major trouble spots, US 23 at Northfield. We had a lot of issues out in this area earlier. Traffic's moving a little faster than this, but you probably do want to go and drive with caution and care as you proceed through this particular area. So a lot of issues on the roads right now, guys.
Seems like nothing catastrophic, but just a lot of fender benders and kind of wiping out, hitting those sidewalls and just blocking lanes.
We did have some closures earlier today over in that US 23 area, but that's been better. So things are getting a little better, but as traffic picks up through the rush hour, it's going to cause some more delays. So.
How much longer should you and I just keep talking and talking and delaying?
I'm waiting for you to talk so long I get my next coughing fit.
That's what I was trying to do, actually.
Well, then you could do the weather.
No. I tried that once yesterday. It did not work out. It didn't work out. I'm like, what else do you have? And she's like, that's it.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, thanks for everyone that's just, dealing with my little coughing fits.
It's that
time of year, right?
Tis the season, yep.
All right, so let's go ahead and start with the road map here. As far as if areas haven't been treated, these would be the areas that are snow covered. So your major thoroughfares are going to be clear because they've been, treated by the salt trucks. But I'm talking the neighborhoods in this area where we did get that fresh coating of snow. And so, light dusting out there from about I-69 southward is where you could encounter some slick spots from your driveway to the sidewalks or even just the roads throughout your neighborhood. But that might seem a little overdone because, the freeways and things like that have been treated. But that's just an area that could be possibly a little snowy or slick. But Exact Track 40 is showing all that's out of here. So we're just in the aftermath part of this light snow system that we've had. Zooming in a little closer, dry as a bone as far as what's coming out of the sky. But of course, we still have that snowpack at the surface. So we're on the northern tier of the system that's pushing up from the New England region down towards Florida. And of course, the farther south you go and the warmer it is, you start to see that change over to rain. But there is a mix and freezing rain that's pushing towards D.C. So if you have any travel plans today, anywhere east of here, you just want to make sure you use caution. And if you're flying, to check your flight to see if there are any delays. Right now, we've melted things right around the ice rink there. Now, the rink itself is fine because we're still below freezing, but we have had a little bit of thawing from areas that have been salted. So we're from 11 degrees in Ann Arbor to 24 in Detroit and everywhere else somewhere in between. We get to about 31 for the afternoon high today under cloudy skies, but we'll get another chance for snow late Wednesday.
We need those numbers to go up.
Right? See, Darnell's face is worse than mine.
I know. I did have
made it. I made it, folks. Now I can have a drink of water.
Yeah, right.
Hercules, good job. Sorry,
I'll be back.
So supportive, the two of them. All right, thank you both. Let's take a live look now. Our annual Thaw Telethon officially underway. It started at 5 o'clock this morning, goes until 7 o'clock tonight. Now, Thaw stands for the Heat and Warmth Fund. That's an important lifeline for thousands of families. Thaw helps people in crisis pay their utility bills.
We don't want you to live in your home and be afraid to turn your heat up.
Families, seniors, veterans, people you might know in our community struggling to pay their heat, energy, and water bills.
If you're struggling to pay your utility bill, that's where we come in to assist you to make sure that it gets paid.
Help us go for it and give the gift of warmth. Call the number on your screen, 888-579-4950, or scan the QR code to donate. We're taking donations until 7 o'clock tonight. All right, and just because we can, I want to reiterate that number again on your screen, 888-579-4950. That QR code there in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. All you have to do is scan that and it takes you to a webpage where you can donate and help. Again, the telethon goes until 7 o'clock tonight. Every dollar makes a difference. Well, the Salvation Army of Metro Detroit is urging everyone to give generously as well this Giving Tuesday. An anonymous donor is matching all digital donations dollar for dollar up to $25,000, doubling the impact of your gift. Your donation can provide food, shelter, Christmas gifts, and life-saving services to families and individuals struggling across Southeast Michigan. You can give online or drop your donation in a red kettle near you. Last year, the Salvation Army provided nearly 2.5 million meals, over 400,000 nights of shelter, and 73,000 Christmas toys and gifts. Now, if you're going to head to Campus Martius today, you also have a chance to help families with a unique giving machine. The gift vending machine is here until Sunday. It makes donating food, clothing, and school supplies easy for people in need, locally and globally. If you go here, your gifts go to local groups like Catholic Charities, Focus Hope, and more. Or if you can't make it downtown, there's another machine opening this week at Great Lakes Crossing in Auburn Hills. All right, now to a push to get more children enrolled in free pre-K here in Michigan. The state says 51,000 4-year-olds have enrolled in Michigan's Great Start for Readiness program for this school year. That's a 21% increase, or 9,000 more kids from last year. Michigan also has a goal of reaching 75% enrollment by 2027. To talk more about this and how parents can take advantage of free school, we have Dr. Beverly Walker-Griffia. She is the director of MILEAP, and Sophia Lafayette Law. She is the director of MILEAP's Division of Early Learning and Family Supports. That's a very long title, but I got it out there. Thank you both for joining me. Let's just talk about the numbers first of all, and either one of you can answer this. I know it's an increase, but you probably want to see more, and that's the whole reason that we're pushing it more.
Well, of course we do. This is a great opportunity for parents in Michigan to really save money by ensuring that their children are taking this excellent benefit that our governor and our bipartisan legislator put together so that our 4-year-olds can have free child care, early education that is excellent. And we know that with this, it's really saving about $14,000 a year. And we have 2 more months that people can sign up. We are, as you've said, hitting records with this. And we want to make sure everybody knows and understands that this is for you. There are, very little barriers to stop you from doing this. And that's why we're here, to share the good news.
Sophia, I want to ask you too, because I'm sure there's lots of data and lots of things to discuss. In terms of how much it helps, what is research showing in terms of what kind of advancements students are and how much further ahead they are just by going to pre-K?
Absolutely. Michigan state-funded pre-K is one of the top ranked in the nation. As a matter of fact, #1 in the nation, as evaluated by NEAR, which is one of the organizations that accreditates or recognizes the top standards for early education in the country. And Michigan state-funded pre-K ensures developmentally appropriate practices, curriculum that meets the needs of children and prepares them for kindergarten, provides them with safe, quality environments, with materials and resources, joyful play and activities to prepare them for kindergarten. And it just, research has shown again and again that participation in a high-quality pre-K program ensures long-term success and long-term investments in terms of what you get back out of that time.
I don't know if falling behind is the right phrase, so forgive me, I just can't find the right words, but for students who don't go to pre-K and then go directly into kindergarten, have you seen or have you talked to families who have seen that there is some kind of gap there as they try to catch up to the other kids?
I don't have specific research on those types of gaps. I think that primarily what we see is just a readiness level. When you talk to kindergarten teachers, especially the readiness of children when they've participated in a pre-K program and then have the opportunity, and start kindergarten having had that experience, that their readiness is definitely that there's a difference there. There's also an attendance we've seen in terms of attendance, and we know attendance is a factor that when students students aren't attending school, that academics suffer, and that those that attend pre-K have longer, the trends show that they have better attendance records overall.
Gotcha. Beverly, I also wanted to ask you as well here. It's one of those things where you definitely want to send your kid to pre-K, but a lot of times the barrier is just the cost, and now you've removed that.
Yes, definitely remove that and really just trying to make it easier. If you're interested, all you need to go to is your local school district and start the process for getting signed up. We have a website, mypreKforall, .org, that you can go to and start, putting those processes together. But this is such an awesome time. And then you think about that we also have the free breakfast and that's going on that the legislature just passed for within the budget for our students to have. So our schools have that as well to offer the students, and some even offer transportation for our little ones to go back and forth. So this is really the time to make sure that your child is getting the best that you can get. Because as Dr. Laws has said, we're the top in the nation. We have to take advantage, and we want to make sure your child has this opportunity.
Yeah. I also wanted to talk, either one of you can answer this, or both of you for that matter, that when you start removing some of these societal issues and quality of life concerns about not being able to have breakfast or affordable lunches or being able to afford pre-K, and we can just focus on the health and well-being of these children, how much more does it help these families when you're no longer considering or worried about those things and can just focus on mom and dad, grandma and grandpa just being kids and just growing?
It's a
Dr. Laws, go ahead. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I mean, it's a tremendous impact. I am both a grandparent of a little one that is of this age, and I have a niece that is of this age, and the impact on the family to have to know that you have a safe place, not just safe, but that the children are so excited to go to, that the teachers have created an environment that's so welcoming for the families. Families enjoy and appreciate this opportunity so very much from both an economical sense, because then they can work and feel like they know that their child is somewhere safe and cared for, but from that aspect as well, right? Like knowing your child is with teachers and educators and caregivers that truly have their best interest and are trained to provide them the best experience possible for pre-K. And so knowing that, it's a huge impact on families to have that sense of peace for their child, which we all want.
Beverly, did you want to add anything there?
I just wanted to say that this is such a great time to be a Michigander because we understand that taking care of this early childhood make sure that we're going to have great, successful adults. It is building the foundation to meet our 60 by 30 goal to ensure that Michigan has so many people that have the credentials ready to get those great jobs that will help to make sure that their families live successfully and our communities thrive. And we can't do it without ensuring that we have funding to make sure that those children have everything that they need at the very beginning from birth. And the parents have stress-free lives so that they can really help their children to grow and prosper and nurture in the way that we want them to, because all of those make healthy adults.
It is the definition of investing in our future. All right, both of you, thank you so much for joining us. I honestly didn't realize it was as simple as just going to your local school and just signing up and it was taken care of. So thank you for letting us know that, and I can't wait to see what the numbers do and hopefully we'll hit that goal in 2027.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. All right, 8:45 here on your Tuesday. Coming up next, we're going to look at some headlines, and we're going to head up north to Manistee to take a look at a mystery unfolding after a woman is found dead, a pregnant woman found dead in a national forest. All right, let's take a live look up in Manistee now, where a mystery is unfolding in the disappearance and death of a pregnant woman. 2 people are set to be arraigned today after Rebecca Park was found dead in the Manistee National Forest before Thanksgiving. The baby she was pregnant with is missing. Her mother, stepfather, sister, and fiance have all been arrested in connection to this case. We expect to learn more about the mother and stepfather's charges when they are in court later today. Investigators have not revealed how Park died, but the search for her baby continues. A live look now at Metro Airport. If you haven't gotten your real ID yet, you're going to have to pay more at the airport. Starting February 1st, the TSA will charge travelers without a real ID or passport an extra $45 to get through security. That's up from the $18 fee that was proposed last month. This fee is covering a 10-day travel window and can be paid online. The TSA says this fee is needed to cover the cost of their verification systems. Well, if you're heading to Royal Oak over the holidays, there's some good news. There's some free parking in some spots for the next few weeks. This week, park mobile meters are going up on East 4th Street between South Troy and Knowles. The city switched parking meter companies earlier this year after years of problems. But starting January 1st, you'll need to pay at the new meters. Okay, the snow might not be done with us yet. Ashley is tracking some more later in the week. Plus, a look at snow around Michigan. This is a live look at Muskegon. We'll show you the piles and feet of snow that are accumulating there. Let's take a live look in Gaylord now. It is the snowman cam. Take a look. You can see there's a fair amount of snow up north, but there's some squirrels hanging out. They got the snowman hanging out. Are they not eating his like carrot nose or anything, are they?
I don't know, but I want to draw your attention to the right side.
Way
Do you see, is that a measuring tool right there?
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that, so it's above?
That's like
it's
18 inches.
18 inches of snow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. One of those, there must be some food or hit something.
I don't know. They're having fun out there.
Good time. All right, you know who's not having fun? The people trying to drive in this right now.
No kidding, and especially if you're traveling off to the East Coast, like, I mean, that's really troublesome. And we've just kind of been dealing with round after round of this. It's December. Here we go.
It's, you know, it's normal.
I know.
You don't like it, but it's normal.
I know. We will get a break from the snow later this week, but then that really cold air comes. If you ask me, I'd rather have a little bit of snow and have fun in it than be freezing outside. Everyone has their own opinion, right? But satellite radar showing that stronger low pressure system now pushing up along the eastern seaboard. We're in the northern tier of this bigger system that brought some light accumulation, but all it takes is a little bit of snow at the surface to create some travel trouble, which we encountered this morning. We weren't under any kind of winter weather alerts here in southeastern Michigan, but you don't have to go far to find them. In fact, a good chunk of Ohio, as soon as you cross the state line, under a winter weather advisory with upgraded winter storm warnings just north of Boston. So that's where we're going to encounter a lot of trouble when it comes to that winter weather, from snow to even a wintry mix, freezing rain getting the DC area. But on our exact track 4D, the snow out of here. And so we are drying things out, per se, at least from the sky. The stuff at the surface, that's not going anywhere because it's so cold, it's going to stick around for quite some time. So that's what we have in your forecast. So light accumulation was early. That's in the rearview mirror now. But what's ahead? Well, we have more snow come Wednesday evening with an Arctic front that's going to come in. And really, it brings another little, bout of light accumulation that maybe will make it a little slower for the Wednesday evening rush hour drive. But it's going to be the bitterly cold air mass that takes the cake with this thing. I mean, you're going to notice a huge difference. Another live look outside downtown Detroit. It just looks cold out there.
So cold, there's lots of steam.
Yeah, lots of steam. It's like when you fly into DTW this time of year and you're like, oh, there's the Arctic tundra, 24 degrees right now in Detroit, 11 in Ann Arbor, 20 in Pontiac, 21 in Monroe. So for today, we only get to about 31 for that afternoon high, just at or below the freezing mark. And it's going to be downward from here because of this secondary front that rolls in late Wednesday. So that does push through southeastern Michigan into the evening. We're talking earlier evening, so this clips the rush hour drive, but it brings just kind of those bouts of some snow. It's not a big snow maker, but you could see some flakes flying, dropping just a little bit of that dusting or light accumulation. This is worth pointing out more than even the snow chances. The clearing as we head into Thursday morning, you remove that blanket of cloud cover, and then you have the colder air mass building in, and bam, that air is going to hit you Thursday morning with these feels like temperatures. We're going to feel like we're at 0 or maybe even more than 10 degrees below 0. And as we zip into Friday morning, those feels like temperatures will range between 10 and 15 below out in Ann Arbor, with sub-zero wind chill readings so closer to the city. So you just need to take that into account if you're going to be out and about, especially kids standing at the bus stop in those early morning hours. Otherwise, as we zip through the rest of the week, Wednesday brings that light snow chance, and then it kind of just dances around us for a while. Even a clipper system looks like it could go south of here as we head into the later part of the weekend. So we're not going to have a ton of snow chances, but the snow we have is sticking around because these temperatures are not rising above freezing over the next 7 days.
That's an interesting forecast when you're using words like bam and zip. An ongoing problem in Wayne County over hazardous waste. Here's Damon Fernandez with what he's working on.
I'm Damon Fernandez on Detroit's east side. It's the community's call to action right now for this hazardous waste facility back here to be immediately shut down. Why they say they want to see that happen, and some regulatory changes coming up.
Welcome back. A community is fighting to shut down a hazardous waste facility on Detroit's east side. Residents blame U.S. Ecology Detroit South for strong foul orders that have lasted for years. The facility is seeking to renew its state permits, but neighbors, lawmakers, and environmental groups say enough is enough. They want the site closed for good. Damon Fernandez has that story.
Today we're calling on Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy to shut down U.S. Ecology.
And that's the public call from a group of neighbors, lawmakers, and members of the Detroit-Hamtramck Coalition for Advancing Healthy Environments, urging the state to shut down U.S. Ecology Detroit South. Critics say the Frederick Street hazardous waste storage and treatment site, operated by Republic Services, has been a consistent nuisance.
Someone say that's not right.
That's not right.
All right.
Among the big issues, neighbors say noxious odors routinely coming from the hazardous waste processing plant. Katie Morelli lives downwind of the site.
Including an odor violation that occurred just 10 days ago from today, that left the taste of burning chemicals and rotting fish in my mouth when I exited my home with my 2-year-old son.
And she's not the only neighbor taking issue. In addition to odors, residents are pointing to problems including dusts and alleged outdoor storage of hazardous and flammable materials.
When you start smelling these odors that smell like VOCs or paint or sometimes rotting fish, it's not, oh, it smells bad. It's like, this is poisonous. This is hazardous.
These residents are speaking out as U.S. Ecology Detroit South and its operators ask Eagle to renew its permit. Some state lawmakers are telling Eagle not so fast.
Every family in this room and in our community has a right to breathe clean air.
Republic Services issued a statement to Local 4 Monday afternoon saying, quote, Detroit South provides safe, essential hazardous waste disposal for hundreds of businesses across Michigan and the Midwest. Recent upgrades include a state-of-the-art tank system, improved storage processes, enhanced waste handling procedures, and a new on-site lab for material testing. Still, these residents are standing firm on their push to get the hazardous waste treatment sites shut down.
Enough is enough. Eagle has a duty to end this cycle and has the tools necessary to put our residents and public health first.
That was Devon Fernandez reporting. U.S. Ecology Detroit South also told us to address community concerns about the odor. The facility updated its odor management plan, adding a 4th air monitoring station and is evaluating additional air pollution controls. Neighbors hope a recent move by Wayne County Commissioners passing a resolution in support of denying that permit renewal will help put some pressure on Eagle. All right, another hour of Local 4 Live coming your way. We're going to keep an eye on the skies and the roads this morning. Plus, today is Giving Tuesday. It's the gift of helping those in need. Next, a look at how you can help people stay warm through these bitterly cold days.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
All right, at 9 o'clock on the dot here on your Tuesday morning. A look at road conditions right now. We see the majority of green on your maps, but there is some red, some slowdown, some trouble spots. So the good news is things are improving from the way they were when we first started your morning commute, but there are still lots of areas to avoid. We're going to break down those on I-94, on US 23, 75. There's a couple of problem spots. Also, let's take a live look at the roads right now. This is 696 in Southfield. People woke up to a fresh coating of snow there, and we are still seeing how it can affect a morning drive. To 94 near Metro Airport, the freeways are slick, and the main streets and side streets in your neighborhood may also be covered in snow as they work to clear some of the runways there at DTW. Well, welcome back to Local 4 Live. I'm Nick Monticelli. We're going to we are joined here at the top of the hour by the one, the only forewarned meteorologist, Ashley Bears. Oh my gosh. Look at that.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Mike. Oh my goodness.
You get the horns even on bad weather days.
Hey, I mean, if I get that kind of welcome, I'll be here. Top of the 9 o'clock hour. Oh,
there it goes.
I don't make the weather. I just try to help you out. But yeah, you were referencing that we had that fresh coating of snow this morning. So I wanted to start with a road condition map. This doesn't mean that all of the roads still have snow on it. What this means is this is the area that was snow coated. Now, if there are salt trucks out there, they've cleared the path for you, especially on those major thoroughfares. However, I-69 South is where we likely have surface streets, those neighborhood streets that still have a little bit of snow accumulation out there. And if you haven't thrown salt on the driveway and your sidewalks, you need to do so. Be that friendly neighbor. No one wants to slip on that out there because it only takes a little bit of snow to create some slick conditions. But the snow that was falling, long gone. So you have to really look off towards that eastern edge of Lake Erie to find some of that snowfall. So we're drying things out from the sky, but the snow's sticking at the surface because it's not going anywhere anytime soon with these temperatures that are in the forecast. We're in the northern tier of this bigger system that is draping the East Coast from Maine all the way down towards Florida, and the DC area getting a bit of a mixture out of it. So if you have travel plans, just double check, especially if you're catching a flight, if there are any delays, because that will be impactful for those states. For now, it's just the quiet after what was a snowy start. 27 degrees in the city, 12 in Ann Arbor, 20 in Pontiac, 21 down into Monroe. And the rest of the day, we're only topping out right around the freezing mark. And this is one of the warmer days this week, Nick, because we have some colder air arriving by later this week. So we'll talk about another snow chance and the bitterly cold air of the season coming our way.
So is your husband I'll shovel the neighbor's driveway and sidewalk kind of guy too?
You know, a lot of times he does that while I'm not even looking, so I don't know what all he does. He is the snow blower though, so yeah, I mean he takes care of the sidewalks, and he's a friendly guy. Yeah.
I'll do that if it's chaotic inside. Like, all this is happening here. I'm going to do all the neighbors. I'll be back in 7 hours.
There you go. Yeah, now I know why he's out there. He doesn't have to do it with the kids. Oh, you just gave it away.
He's not being friendly. It's called mental health for dad.
Yes.
All right, Ashley, thank you. All right, 9:03 here on Tuesday. It is day 4 of the preliminary hearing in the deadly hyperbaric chamber explosion case out in Troy. Yesterday, we heard testimony highlighting improper safety precautions, including a missing grounding strap that, according to experts, could have prevented the tragedy. A Mayo Clinic safety director said the Oxford Center never used this crucial device to prevent static sparks. 5-year-old Thomas Cooper died when the chamber exploded in January. 4 people, including the center's owner, are facing charges. Here's a clip from the expert's testimony during cross-examination.
The evidence that we see identifies that there was a static buildup and that it passed to the mattress.
We can't say for sure that the bracelet on his body necessarily would have absorbed all that energy, can we?
Well, I would say that because the static went to a grounded surface, then we can say that.
Now we're going to be covering this hearing again today. We'll have updates from the courtroom for you on our website over at clickondetroit.com. An Oakland County doctor will learn how long he'll spend in prison for sexually abusing and secretly recording patients. Yomar Ages pleaded no contest to 30 charges in October. That's accepting punishment without admitting guilt. His victims range from adults to children as young as 2 years old. We're going to have more for you in later editions of Local 4 News. Well, at any minute, the Wayne County Board of Canvassers will begin a recount in the race for Hamtramck mayor. The count already had Adam Al-Harbi the winner by just 6 votes, but his opponent, Mahith Mahmood, asked for a recount. And both candidates are also pursuing lawsuits, making this election even more complicated. Lauren Kostick, who has been following this very unusual race, has an update.
In just 4 weeks, the race for Hamtramck mayor has been nothing short of surprises and drama. First, just 11 votes separated the 2 candidates, with Adam Al-Harbi leading over his opponent, Councilman Mahith Mahmood. But the race was still too close to call, with dozens of rejected absentee ballots that needed to be corrected due to signature issues. 120 of those were returned. Then, days later, another twist. The city clerk was put on administrative leave after 37 ballots were found uncounted in her office. That same day, Al-Harbi filed a lawsuit claiming Mahmood doesn't actually live in Hamtramck, challenging his eligibility. Later that week, the county board rejected the 37 uncounted counted ballots, citing chain of custody concerns. The board then certified the election results, declaring Al Harvey the winner by just 6 votes.
It's finally over, and that's it. And now our focus is going to be on fixing our city.
But Mahmoud wasn't ready to call it quits, requesting a recount.
Of course, I'm going to do a recount. I'm going to request it either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow,
which the board approved last week. Adding to this contentious race, Mahmoud also filed his own lawsuit, asking for the 37 denied ballots to be counted, or at the very least to allow those voters to recast their ballots. All this leading to a pivotal recount on Tuesday.
Now, the Wayne County Board of Canvassers expects to finish the recount this afternoon. The new mayor will take office on January 1st. All right, let's head over to Michigan State University, where it's a new era for the football team. Today, the university will introduce its new football coach. Northwestern coach Pat Fitzgerald has been tapped to lead the Spartans going into next season. He is replacing former MSU coach Jonathan Smith following a disappointing 2-year run. Michigan State will introduce him this afternoon at 3 o'clock, and we're going to bring that to you live here on Local 4 Plus. We know there are a lot of people in our area struggling to make ends meet right now, and it can be especially scary if you can't afford to pay your utility bills. That's why Local 4 is teaming up with Thaw, the Heat and Warmth Fund, for a telethon that's happening right now. You can help someone keep their lights and the heat on this winter. The number is on your screen there, 888-579-4950. Let's get out to that telethon where we're joined by Katori Cole. She is Thaw's Chief Development Officer. Katori, thank you very much for joining us. We had some great conversations this morning when I visited you about how far the dollar stretches and the families that could use your help. Walk me through some of the stories you've heard about what families are seeing right now and why they're reaching out for help.
Well, thanks, Nick, so much. You know, it's been so fascinating this particular season because people are really dealing with some really extreme situations. There's been a lot of crisis in our community, and so some of the stories we're hearing. Just a moment ago, I got a call from a woman who was 77, and she shared that she just didn't want anyone else to feel the cold. As she's gotten older, the cold is just in her bones, and she just recognizes that it can be painful. And so when we think about our seniors, they're dealing with a different feeling when they're dealing with this cold weather. And to be in the dark and in the cold, it's a really scary situation.
Yeah. How often do you hear from those who are donating or those who have gotten help from you about how a lot of times they are just either afraid or sometimes ashamed to ask for help? And it easily could be your neighbor right next door with a couple little kids and you didn't know that they're having challenges.
Absolutely. One of the things we recognize is that the majority of the people who call into Thaw to ask for help, they're hardworking people. They're just having a difficult time making those ends meet. And so when someone calls into Thaw, one of the things we do is we have what we call trauma-informed assistants on the other end who are able to go and talk to someone and treat them with the dignity that they deserve to help them walk through that time. It is one of the most difficult times in their life to have to pick up that phone and say, I need help. And for so many of us, it's so difficult to make that call. So we try to make it very comfortable on our end so that when people call in, they feel that they can share what they need to share so that they can get the support that they need.
Yeah, okay, so I know last year you hit $125,000. This year the goal is $150,000, which will probably help the same amount of people because of inflation and rising costs. How are we doing right now? Where are we at?
So right now we're just over $10,000, and so we're revving forward, but we really need your support. And making that call to the line or going online to our thawfund.org could really make the difference. So we're really encouraging people to think about your neighbors and friends, to think about this morning when you got up how cold it was, and to be in the dark, and to think about how that could really impact other families.
Yeah, okay, Katori Cole, thank you so much for your time this morning, and I can't stress it enough. The number there, 888-579-4950, or scan that QR code there at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. I know you might be thinking, oh, I can only give maybe 10 or 20 bucks. I promise you, every dollar matters, and we have raised that $10,000 in a matter of 4 hours or so, so things are going strong, but you usually tend to see a drop in donations once the morning rush kind of ends. So Please keep going. Please call us. Scan the QR code. We can use your help all day long. Again, donations going until 7 o'clock tonight. Well, these days, $1 won't get you much at a restaurant or a grocery store, but today it can add up to 6 meals for families in need. We're going to tell you how to make that dollar stretch where it matters most coming up after the break. All right, at 9:13 here on your Tuesday morning, as we've been talking about, today is Giving Tuesday, a day to make a real difference in people's lives. We've already heard from the Heat and Warmth Fund about their telethon and how they are helping people keep the heat on, but the Gleaners Community Food Bank is also stepping up to help. In 2025, Gleaners distributed over 47 million pounds of food, and last year it served more than 1 million households, and there are different ways that you can help. Every dollar you donate provides 6 meals to families in need. If you excuse me, I'm turning to Ashley here. If you can't afford to donate, you can also donate your time by volunteering at distribution centers, or you can donate non-perishable food items. Joining me now is Kristen Sokol with Gleaners. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning.
I want to talk about all the incredible things you do, but also the need right now. We've had so many conversations with Gleaners about the things that have happened, whether it be inflation or the economy or being underemployed or SNAP benefits. I mean, so many things have kind of piled on right now. I'm assuming you're seeing just an immense amount of need and people coming to you.
I mean, pile on really feels like the theme of what this fall has been like for families. And so over the last several weeks, when we really had issues with SNAP, we had seen our partners and our mobile distributions increase up to 50% in requests for support. And while that's calmed some, the holidays are still a tough time for families where expenses are increased. We just heard that from your friends at Thaw, because you have higher utilities, there's more responsibilities in the holiday season. And so it's an important time for us to take care of our neighbors. And what a great day to do that, but on the global day of generosity that is Giving Tuesday.
You know, I didn't even think about it. I could be wrong here with my assumption, but when you had all those folks that needed help in the early fall, did that kind of deplete some of the pantries and now we have to stock back up going into the winter months here?
Well, the great thing about our operations team at Gleaners is that when they see something coming, they start ordering in early. Right? I mean, no, because we get it in the door, we get it right back out the door, because we did 15 million pounds of fresh produce last year. I know we're known for our shelf-stable items, but we get a lot of fresh food out, making sure that people have balanced nutrition. But because we get the food out so quickly, we need to replenish it as quickly as we get it in. And so the more resources we have coming into our doors, the more we can get back out into the community to make our households stronger, which makes our communities stronger, because we know that people are worth investing in. And if they have enough to eat, they can do better in their daily lives.
So what are some of the stories that you hear from families right now in terms of how they got to a point where they could use a little help? I know they are everyday people that look just like your neighbors, and they are most times, maybe every time, hardworking folks who aren't looking for free stuff. They're just looking for someone to kind of help them get out of this rut.
Yeah, I mean, most of the people that we serve have working members of their households.
Yeah.
It's just not enough. And so what we're hearing from our neighbors is that, they may have been able to make all of their bills, but it's just a little too much right now, and they need that extra help. And so we can help fill that gap, right? Right when you need that little bit of help, maybe you're not making ends meet right this minute, we can give you that food so that you can make your rent, so that you can pay your utility bill, so that you can buy your kid a new coat for this winter until you can get to that next phase. And people were worried, right? When you can't take care of your family in the way that you're used to, you're worried. And so us being able to take that worry off the table is really important for us, especially during the holiday season when everyone is focused on that togetherness. And what does that togetherness surround? Food on a table, usually.
I remember a few years ago, I talked to a family, and the mother told me that she felt incredibly guilty asking for help because she was spending some of her money on Christmas presents for her children, which is okay. You shouldn't feel guilty buying kids presents.
That's right. And we do hear from so many people who come to us who say, I didn't think I needed help enough.
Right.
There are other people who need more help than I do. And that might be true. But that doesn't mean that you don't need help.
Right.
And so people often wait too long to come and see us. And we recognize that there's stigma attached to that. But our hope is that by the way we work with our partners, by the way we operate our mobile distributions, by the way we're innovating how we're meeting people where they are, that we can reduce some of that stigma. People can get the help when they need it and thrive afterward.
And I would like to just get rid of the stigma by acknowledging inflation and the cost of groceries. It is astronomical now. So for someone to say, I need help is completely understandable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you talked at the top about how for Gleaners right now, every $1 can provide 6 meals, thanks to a match from the Tony A. Wisney Foundation. Yep. I can't feed myself for $1 for one day, let alone 2.
Right.
So using this opportunity to make twice the impact for families, I mean, what an incredible opportunity to show our neighbors that they're worth investing in. I mean, if there are 2 words that should never go together, it's definitely child and hunger, and yet we know that at least 1 in 5 children are hungry right now.
Yep.
So this is a solvable problem. We can solve hunger. There's enough food in the United States to do it. And if only we had the resources available to us to get out to the community, we could.
Okay, so let's talk about those solutions. The best way to donate or help is starting with your website, right?
Yeah, going to gcfb.org, or you can look up Gleaners on Google. It's so easy. Our donate button is all over the page, so super easy for you.
Yeah.
But if you don't have $1 in your pocket, you can still help. You can still give food to your local pantry. That's helping your neighbors right where you live. You can still give your time. Now, right now, Gleaners has a wait list for volunteers, thank goodness. But then January, February, March come around. People still need help, and volunteerism is low. So if you can book your January, February, or March spot today, please do so. We need your help even beyond this moment.
Okay, Chris with Gleaners, thank you so much, and thank you for sharing all the stories that people are willing to share with you.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, we've talked about this all morning long. It was a cold morning, but it's about to get even colder in Metro Detroit. Ashley is going to come back to tell us just how low they can go. Also, we're going to take you to a place that is happy for the snow and the cold. The ski resorts up in northern Michigan when they are opening for the season, and when Mary is leaving me for a while. We'll talk about it when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. Let's head up north, shall we, where you can hit the ski slope starting this weekend. Nub's Knob is opening for the season on Saturday. The Harbor Springs and Petoskey area got several inches of snow over the long Thanksgiving weekend. The ski resort says that, coupled with some man-made snow, means they are good to go for the weekend. All right, let's take a look at your forecast with Ashley Barrissey here with not a whole lot of snow left in the 7-day, but a whole lot of cold temperatures. Hey, Ash.
Now, forewarned weather with Exact Track 4D.
Well, the good news is we're spending the rest of the day on a drier note compared to the light accumulation early today that brought some slick spots across southeastern Michigan. However, we're not done with the snow quite yet, and certainly not done with the cold. We get another cold front that rolls in tomorrow, and that's going to usher in another round of some minor accumulation, but that's really not going to be the headline. That's just the sub-headline. The bigger news will be the bitterly cold air that will build in behind that. It's an Arctic front that's going to usher in the coolest air we have felt so far this season. And that's coming off of a below average stretch of days. I mean, today we're back about 10 degrees below average with a high between 30 to 32 degrees. Mostly cloudy skies, that winter gray settling in, but we should be in the low 40s this time of year. So it's another chilly day, but we'll spend the afternoon on a drier note. Another good reminder that you need to get all the winter car supplies in the vehicle, meaning you want the batteries, the blankets, an extra car battery if you have one, or that cat litter or sandbag. That's going to make all the difference if you encounter a spin out, and a first aid kit, flashlight, all of that. So this is the time to kind of, gear up the car for the winter season. Clouds and radar, so that next round of snow that could create some trouble on the roads would then hit for the evening rush hour drive on Wednesday. So here's that front crossing the area. I've stopped the clock around 6:30, and I'm going to say that window between 5 and 7 is when that line starts to sink across southeastern Michigan tomorrow evening. So the dinner hour, the evening rush hour drive. And then you have a couple little speckly, I would say more lake effect streamers that could last into the later part of the evening, but it'd be very isolated. So it's not a big snowmaker, but it's inconvenient if we start to see some of that stick to the roads. By Thursday morning, we're clearing out some of those clouds. Temperatures are tumbling, and this is what it feels like for the kids standing at the bus stop Thursday morning. Anywhere from 0 for the wind chill to more than 10 degrees below 0, and we're going to repeat that going into Friday. In fact, Thursday night into Friday morning, actual air temperatures fall in the single digits, and we could have some areas once again back in that double-digit territory below 0 for what it feels like outside. Clouds and radar forecast. We're going to zip through this because we don't have a ton of snow chances. We get that, one little front that brings in a few passing snow showers tomorrow evening. By Friday, you blink, you miss it, but we could see a couple flakes flying, and that's going to be well after sunset. And then there's this clipper system, and as of right now, models kind of keeping that a little farther south, but could clip our southern communities early Sunday morning. And so at least that times out well for the work week, that wouldn't mess with a morning rush hour drive, but just a couple little flurries starting to dance around again by late Monday night. And that's all we're really looking at. So not a big snowmaker on the horizon, but like I said, you could get a little passing coating come Wednesday evening. Otherwise, those temperatures falling in the 20s for highs, single-digit lows Thursday into Friday morning, and still teens for overnight lows as we head towards the weekend with highs on either side of 30. Bundle up.
All right, Ash, thank you so much. Still ahead, did you know children can attend preschool for free in Michigan? We're going to hear from the state about a push to get more kids enrolled. Plus, why Costco is suing the Trump administration, and it has to do with what you are buying in the store. All right, Costco wants a refund for money spent on tariffs. It's suing the Trump administration, claiming setting tariffs under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act is not legal. The Supreme Court is reviewing that argument. It's not clear how much Costco wants back, but U.S. Customs and Border Protection is saying importers have paid nearly $90 billion. Let's take you live now to the White House, where the Trump administration confirms it struck an alleged drug boat off of Venezuela. But the administration says Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth did not order it. Bipartisan lawmakers are now demanding answers and questioning the legality of the strike. Here's Alice Barr.
Hi there. Lawmakers have long had questions about the administration's boat strikes, pressing for evidence all the boats were, in fact, carrying drugs. And now this double strike is ramping up bipartisan pressure. President Trump huddling into the night in the Oval Office with his national security team after the administration confirmed it hit an alleged drug smuggling boat twice back in September off Venezuela. A U.S. official and a source familiar with the Pentagon's actions tell NBC News the second strike was ordered after the first failed to kill everyone on board. The White House saying Admiral Frank Bradley, not Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, ordered the second hit.
Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law. He directed the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat of narco-terrorists to the United States was completely eliminated.
Admiral Bradley is overseeing a ramped-up U.S. military presence in the Caribbean, part of the Trump administration's fight against drug traffickers.
The president has made it quite clear that if narco-terrorists, again, are trafficking illegal drugs towards the United States, he has the authority to kill them.
The use of a so-called double tap is raising serious questions among lawmakers in both parties, with some saying that targeting incapacitated survivors after the first hit could be a war crime.
I'm going to look into this very, very diligently and appropriately because there is the possibility of illegal activity by the armed forces.
The Senate Armed Services Republican chair saying classified oversight hearings could begin as soon as this week.
We're able to see videos and see what the orders were. We'll have a lot more information.
Promising a bipartisan push to get to the facts. Defense Secretary Hegseth is putting the responsibility for the second strike on Admiral Bradley while saying he stands by him and the combat decisions he's made, calling him an American hero. In Washington, I'm Alice Barr. Back to you.
All right, let's head live to New Orleans now, where the National Guard is being deployed. Louisiana Republican Governor Jeff Landry says the National Guard will be in New Orleans in 2 weeks and stay through Mardi Gras to combat crime. Meanwhile, demonstrators braved rain Monday night to protest upcoming Border Patrol operations in that city, New Orleans. The operation will mirror recent Border Patrol actions in Charlotte and Chicago, aiming to arrest 5,000 people in the country illegally. Still ahead, the busy downtown area where parking will be free in most spots for the holiday season. And we're going to get you up to the minute information on the roads after multiple accidents on the freeways across our area.
downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's get you the very latest on the traffic conditions in Metro Detroit. You can see the map here. We are still seeing crashes on I-94, 96. If we look at the map anywhere you see in red, which is a good chunk of it, you'll see some problems there. The commute, though, is winding down. We are expecting to see better conditions throughout the day. You can see the snow has moved out of Metro Detroit. We got a fresh coating overnight that really impacted the roads, and we saw greater amounts of snow south of I-94 as we take you to Ann Arbor now. It's a good idea to throw some salt down outside of your front door as you head out. Ashley Barrissey will have your full forecast coming up, and it does include a little more snow for this week. Now to a push to get more children enrolled in free pre-K here in Michigan. The state says 51,000 4-year-olds have enrolled in Michigan's Great Start for Readiness program for this school year. That is a 21% increase, or about 9,000 more kids from last year. The state's goal, though, is reaching 75% enrollment by 2027. In the last hour, I talked to Dr. Beverly Walker-Graffia, the director of MyLeap, and Dr. Sophie Lafayette Laus, the director of MyLeap's Division of Early Learning and Family Supports. Here are some of that conversation. Let's just talk about the numbers first of all, and either one of you can answer this. I know it's an increase, but you probably want to see more. That's the whole reason that we're pushing it more.
Well, of course we do. This is a great opportunity for parents in Michigan to really save money by ensuring that their children are taking this excellent benefit that our governor and our bipartisan legislator put together so that our 4-year-olds can have free child care, early education that is excellent. And we know that with this, it's really saving about $14,000 a year. And we have 2 more months that people can sign up. We are, as you've said, hitting records with this. And we want to make sure everybody knows and understands that this is for you. There are, very little barriers to stop you from doing this. And that's why we're here, to share the good news.
Sophia, I want to ask you too, because I'm sure there's lots of data and lots of things to discuss. In terms of how much it helps, what is research showing in terms of what kind of advancements students are and how much further ahead they are just by going to pre-K?
Absolutely. Michigan state-funded pre-K is one of the top ranked in the nation. As a matter of fact, #1 in the nation, as evaluated by NEAR, which is one of the organizations that accreditates or recognizes the top standards for early education in the country. And Michigan state-funded pre-K ensures developmentally appropriate practices, curriculum that meets the needs of children and prepares them for kindergarten, provides them with safe, quality environments, with materials and resources, joyful play and activities to prepare them for kindergarten. And it just, research has shown again and again that participation in a high-quality pre-K program ensures long-term success and long-term investments in terms of what you get back out of that time.
I don't know if falling behind is the right phrase, so forgive me, I just can't find the right words, but for students who don't go to pre-K and then go directly into kindergarten, have you seen or have you talked to families who have seen that there is some kind of gap there as they try to catch up to the other kids?
I don't have specific research on those types of gaps. I think that primarily what we see is just a readiness level. When you talk to kindergarten teachers, especially, the readiness of children when they've participated in a pre-K program and then have the opportunity, and start kindergarten having had that experience, that their readiness is definitely that there's a difference there. There's also an attendance we've seen in terms of attendance, and we know attendance is a factor that when students aren't attending school, that academics suffer, and that those that attend pre-K have longer, the trends show that they have better attendance records overall.
Gotcha. Beverly, I also wanted to ask you as well here. It's one of those things where you definitely want to send your kid to pre-K, but a lot of times the barrier is just the cost, and now you've removed that.
Yes, definitely remove that and really just trying to make it easier. If you're interested, all you need to go to is your local school district and start the process for getting signed up. We have a website, myprekforall, .org, that you can go to and start, putting those processes together. But this is such an awesome time. And then you think about that we also have the free breakfast and that's going on that the legislature just passed for within the budget for our students to have. So our schools have that as well to offer the students, and some even offer transportation for our little ones to go back and forth. So this is really the time to make sure that your child is getting the best that you can get, because as Dr. Laws has said, we're the top in the nation. We have to take advantage, and we want to make sure your child has this opportunity.
You can see more of that conversation right now on the homepage of clickondetroit.com. We'll include all that information on how you can sign up for free pre-K on our website as well. A live look in Manistee now, where a mystery is unfolding in the disappearance and death of a pregnant woman. 2 people are set to be arraigned today after Rebecca Park was found dead in the Manistee National Forest before Thanksgiving. Her baby that she was pregnant with is still missing. Her mother, stepfather, sister, and fiance have all been arrested in connection to this case. We should be learning more about the mother and stepfather's charges when they're in court later today. Investigators, though, have not revealed how Park died, but the search for her baby continues. A live look over Detroit Metro Airport now. If you haven't got your real ID yet, get ready to pay more at the airport. Starting on February 1st, the TSA will charge travelers without a real ID or passport an extra $45 to get through security. That's up from the $18 fee proposed last month. This fee covers a 10-day travel window and can be paid online. The TSA says this fee is needed to cover the cost of their verification systems. Well, if you're heading to Royal Oak over the holidays, we've got some good news. There is free parking in some spots for the next few weeks. This week, park mobile meters are going up on East 4th Street between South Troy and Knowles. The city switched parking meter companies earlier this year after years of problems. But starting January 1st, you will need to start paying at those new meters. All right, we're going to head back out to our Gift of Warmth telethon next with a look at how you can make an impact on this Giving Tuesday. Well, I'll go for it. Gift of Warmth telethon is happening right now. A live look inside the thaw offices. People standing by, ready to take your calls as we raise money for thaw. That's the Heat and Warmth Fund. Your donations will keep on the lights, the water, and heat for people in our community who are struggling right now. Just call the number on your screen. It's 888-579-4950. You can also donate by scanning that QR code there at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Thaw helps people in crisis pay their utility bills.
We don't want you to live in your home and be afraid to turn your heat up.
Families, seniors, veterans, people you might know in our community struggling to pay their heat, energy, and water bills.
If you're struggling to pay your utility bill, that's where we come in to assist you to make sure that it gets paid.
Help us go for it and give the gift of warmth. Call the number on your screen, 888-579-4950, or scan the QR code to donate. We're taking donations until 7 o'clock tonight. And again, as one more reminder, the number 888-579-4950. You have until 7 o'clock tonight, or you can donate online with that QR code there right on the screen. You can also go to our webpage and click on Detroit.com for the same information. This Giving Tuesday, you may see several organizations asking for money. Before you open your wallet, how can you be sure your money is really helping those in need? Consumer Reports is showing you how to find charities truly making a difference and avoid the ones that don't. Here's Ron.
With so many charities asking for help on Giving Tuesday, it's worth checking before you click donate. A name might sound like a worthy cause, but you want to make sure that you're sending money to the right place. Websites like Charity Navigator and the Better Business Bureau's give.org make it easy to compare organizations while providing a glimpse into how your donation is put to work.
This will tell you how much money went into services or program expenses, and you can compare that to administrative costs and fundraising.
The best nonprofits spend most of their money on the mission itself, ideally 75% or more. Check the charity's website for details about its purpose, board members, and recent financial reports. That kind of transparency shows that the donation is in good hands. And if it's not there, that could be a red flag. And if you get a call, text, or email asking for money, don't rush, be skeptical.
Some low-rated charities have names that sound like those of high-rated ones. If you're solicited, ignore the email or text message or simply hang up the phone.
Online giving platforms and social media fundraisers with crowdfunding websites are popular, but before you donate, make sure that you know and trust the person who is raising the money. And remember, most crowdfunding sites charge a small transaction fee that's often automatically taken out of your donation.
And that was Rhonda Walker reporting. Of course, you don't have to give money to make a difference. Donating your time can be just as valuable. Your next flight out of Metro Airport may include some Christmas carols, and December is off to a very cold start. The temperatures are about to drop even more. We'll talk about carols and temperatures when we come back. (9:46) here on Tuesday. If you're flying in or out of Metro Airport over the holiday season, expect to hear some holiday cheer. The airport is hosting a series of holiday-themed performances with local artists and schools, and they actually kick off today. You can hear from the Fraser High School Flute Choir, the Castac High School, and the Ida High School jazz bands. There's also going to be live musical performances throughout the month of December and 2 visits from Santa. All this ends on December 30th. Hey, Ash.
Now, forewarned weather with Exact Track 4D.
Well, the good news is we're spending the rest of the day on a drier note compared to the light accumulation early today that brought some slick spots across southeastern Michigan. However, we're not done with the snow quite yet, and certainly not done with the cold. We get another cold front that rolls in tomorrow, and that's going to usher in another round of some minor accumulation, but that's really not going to be the headline. That's just the sub-headline. The bigger news will be the bitterly cold air that will build in behind that. It's an Arctic front that's going to usher in the coolest air we have felt so far this season. And that's coming off of a below average stretch of days. I mean, today we're back about 10 degrees below average with a high between 30 to 32 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, that winter gray settling in, but we should be in the low 40s this time of year. So it's another chilly day, but we'll spend the afternoon on a drier note. Another good reminder that you need to get all the winter car supplies in the vehicle, meaning you want the batteries, the blankets, an extra car battery if you have one, or that cat litter or sandbag. That's going to make all the difference if you encounter a spin out, and a first aid kit, flashlight, all of that. So this is the time to kind of, gear up the car for the winter season. Clouds and radar, so that next round of snow that could create some trouble on the roads would then hit for the evening rush hour drive on Wednesday. So here's that front crossing the area. I've stopped the clock around 6:30, and I'm going to say that window between 5 and 7 is when that line starts to sink across southeastern Michigan tomorrow evening. So the dinner hour, the evening rush hour drive. And then you have a couple little speckly, I would say more lake effect streamers that could last into the later part of the evening, but it'd be very isolated. So it's not a big snowmaker, but it's inconvenient if we start to see some of that stick to the roads. By Thursday morning, we're clearing out some of those clouds. Temperatures are tumbling, and this is what it feels like for the kids standing at the bus stop Thursday morning. Anywhere from 0 for the wind chill to more than 10 degrees below 0, and we're going to repeat that going into Friday. In fact, Thursday night into Friday morning, actual air temperatures fall in the single digits, and we could have some areas once again back in that double-digit territory below 0 for what it feels like outside. Clouds and radar forecast. We're going to zip through this because we don't have a ton of snow chances. We get that, one little front that brings in a few passing snow showers tomorrow evening. By Friday, you blink, you miss it, but we could see a couple flakes flying, and that's going to be well after sunset. And then there's this clipper system, and as of right now, models kind of keeping that a little farther south, but could clip our southern communities early Sunday morning. And so at least that times out well for the work week, that wouldn't mess with a morning rush hour drive, but just a couple little flurries starting to dance around again by late Monday night. And that's all we're really looking at. So not a big snowmaker on the horizon, but like I said, you could get a little passing coating come Wednesday evening. Otherwise, those temperatures falling in the 20s for highs, single-digit lows Thursday into Friday morning, and still teens for overnight lows as we head towards the weekend with highs on either side of 30. Bundle up.
Ash, thank you so much. Still ahead, we are wrapping up the college football season for Michigan and Michigan State, and looking ahead to what's next for the Spartans and the Wolverines with big changes on the way in East Lansing. Welcome back, everybody. This afternoon at 3 o'clock, Michigan State will formally introduce Pat Fitzgerald as the new football coach. The Spartans hired the former Northwestern coach just days after firing Jonathan Smith. The team over at Detroit Sports Plus, that's our weekly video sports podcast, talked about that and the Wolverine season on this week's episode.
Changes this year in the rivalry between Michigan and Ohio State. Sorry, friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was it Saturday?
Cold and wet and sad.
Sounds like a lovely day in Ann Arbor. What do you think a loss like this does for the Michigan program? Because this was obviously an Ohio State team that had something to prove, still undefeated on the season, and a Michigan team that was going through some changes this year.
Last year was mostly a miserable football season that was covered up by the fact that Michigan beat Ohio State. This year, all of those bandages were ripped off because Michigan had mostly a miserable football season and then got their butts kicked by Ohio State. So I know the big thing that everybody wants to talk about is 9-3 with a freshman quarterback. But like, if you watched this season, Michigan was not a good football team. They played 3 teams that mattered and got whooped by all 3 of them. They struggled against bad teams like Purdue, like Wisconsin, like Michigan State, and just found a way to get by. I don't think the end result is disastrous by any means, but I do think that the actual like foundation of this team, I have a lot of concerns going forward.
What's your biggest concern then?
A lack of development really across the board. You could point to Andrew Marsh as someone who got better throughout the season, but I could also argue that he just got more playing time. I mean, Bryce Underwood, you didn't see any improvement from him. He just threw for 1 more yard than Davis Warren did against Ohio State last year. So by all accounts, the passing attack was worse this season than it has been for the last several seasons. And that was supposed to be something that was fixed this year with the 5-star quarterback, with Chip Lindsey. So, and then defensively, it just feels like Wink Martindale's unit he's just not willing to change. You had a really senior, experienced defensive line, and Julian Sayin was just standing back in the pocket all day and picking that team apart. So yeah, there's a lot of changes, a lot of improving to do for Michigan.
9-3 with a redshirt freshman, getting some experience, developing a little bit. He didn't have to be a superstar by the end of the season, but he didn't get killed. He didn't embarrass himself. I feel like Michigan had an all right season. It was kind of exactly what I expected from them. I wasn't expecting, I wasn't expecting them to make the playoff, and I wasn't expecting them to beat Ohio State, but, they hung in there, and I feel like usually these are years where you're going 5-8 or 5-7, and we went 9-3, so to me, it doesn't seem like a disaster.
The University of Michigan should never have any of those types of seasons, ever.
You're right.
90 seconds to go in the show. Michigan State making a change, too. Moving on from Jonathan Smith, reports are that Pat Fitzgerald, Northwestern's former coach, is moving into East Lansing. Your thoughts on the hire? Is it a seismic one for you?
I think it's perfect for Michigan State. A guy who's been in the conference, he knows the region, he's overachieved at Northwestern. I think he's a perfect fit for Michigan State and a much better fit than Jonathan Smith was.
True.
Yeah, Northwestern losing program, got some baggage with him with scandals. He's great.
It was settled.
He's a Midwest guy. He won at a lesser program than Michigan State, and he, like you guys said, he knows the Big Ten. So he's like Jonathan Smith, but with the Midwest ties, which is important. So I think it's a really good hire.
How long do you think it would take? Because people at Michigan State expect this team to return to the D'Antonio age. Do you think they can with Pat Fitzgerald?
No.
Okay. All right. So,
but you don't need to do that anymore with a 12-team playoff. You don't need to be that. You just need to look at Kirk Cignetti. If that can be done at Indiana, it can be done at Michigan.
I mean, can they have a season like Michigan? Not next year, but maybe like in a couple of years?
Yeah.
Sure. Could they win 8-9 games? Maybe.
Yeah.
Their goal should be to win 8 or 9 games.
And the guys also talked a lot about the Lions. You can watch that right now under the Watch Live tab over on clickondetroit.com. All right, much more ahead here throughout the day on Local 4 Plus. Let's get over to Kim and Tati with a preview of what's happening on Live in the D.
Today on Live in the D, we're taking the show out live to the Pope Francis Center in Detroit.
See how it's bridging the gap for those who are unhoused in our community, from offering shelter in a warm place to helping people get back on their feet in a supportive environment.
Hear the stories of those who have received help from the Pope Francis Center to rebuild their lives and make a fresh start.
We'll show you how lives are being changed. It is all coming up on Live in the D at 11 a.m.
All right, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us here on Local 4 Live. More news and weather ahead, always on Local 4 Plus and on clickondetroit.com. And remember, it's Giving Tuesday, so if you can donate to our Thaw Telethon, that number 888-495-5940.